Who we got?
And this is Larissa Hassinger from Cedarcook.
Morning. Hey, good morning, everyone. It's 10 a.m. We ask you to please rise if you're able. We open and turn to pledge of allegiance before we convene the public meeting. Dear Heavenly Father, we're thankful to present the final budget today that you provided the means for the county. We ask you for your wisdom going forward, that we always make decisions that are in accordance with your will. As we guide the county, we pray for our elected officials and department heads, as they remain diligent and watchful as they guide their respective offices. Father, as we draw near to another year, end of another year, let us reflect on our faults, make every effort to correct them. May we praise you for our strengths and our victories. May we be humble in our success. Lord, we have grateful hearts to thank you for the service of our dedicated employees and elected officials. This morning, we're honoring one today that has given over 50 years of his life in dedicated service in many roles throughout our communities. We are thankful for his commitment, wisdom, and sacrifices he has made. We ask for your blessing upon him as he enters the next season of life. May he be full of good health, peace, enjoyment with his family and friends. Grant him the opportunities to continue to share his knowledge and experience in the future. Let us learn from his example of service. And we ask you for your guidance throughout our meeting and for every day. Amen. Amen.
This is the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Morning, everyone. This time we will convene our commissioners' public meeting. We'll ask for approval of the minutes of the previous meeting. Yeah.
I'll make that motion.
Okay. All favor say aye.
Aye.
Have any public comment on agenda items only at this time? Okay, hearing none. We have a special citation. Yes.
You don't want to add that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you for pointing that out. Okay, we have an item to add to the agenda. Item 4.2. Dana, would you want to take note of that?
Yep, certainly. Item 4.2 for Michael Hagan, DA office, assignment of special county detectives as roving DUI patrols.
Is there a motion to accept that to add to the agenda?
Sure, I'll make the motion.
I'll say. All in favor, side?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Nikki.
You're welcome.
We have a special citation of recognition. I'll read it this morning here. Whereas for the past 50 years, Sheriff Mark Lusk has served the Lycoming County community in a variety of capacities, including as a patrolman, corporal, criminal investigator, chief of police, deputy coroner, fireman, arson investigator, an EMT, and sheriff, often working 2 or 3 jobs at a time, and many in leadership positions. And whereas Sheriff Lusk was instrumental in the remodeling and modernization of the current administrative sheriff's office. Thinking outside the box, He has been instrumental in finding innovative ways to improve operations for public safety. And whereas believing in building bridges, he has garnered community support, participation, working with the local VFWs, American Legions, and networking within the community wherever he is able. Whereas during his 50 years of service, Sheriff Lusk has assisted Lycoming County residents during several major and minor floods, coordinating rescues, recovery, mitigation services, command, and operations supports. And whereas as a volunteer for the Lycoming Township Volunteer Fire Company for the past 45 years, he has served in a variety of different roles, including captain, vice president, assistant chief, ambulance operations commander, as well as serving on various committees. Sheriff Lusk contributes to the future through his teaching and mentoring today's volunteers and youth. And whereas, in addition to being a certified instructor, Mark serves on a variety of boards, committees, task force, receiving numerous accolades and awards along the way, but staying true to his conviction to serve and protect. And whereas over the years, Sheriff Lusk has served the residents of Lycoming County in a variety of ways and venues, dedication, passion, integrity, innovation, leadership, and a sense of humor. He has kept us entertained with his stories and informed us with his knowledge. Now therefore be resolved that we, the Lycoming County Board of Commissioners, on behalf of our citizens, offer our deepest appreciation and gratitude for the 50 years of exceptional service, dedication, and commitment that Sheriff Lusk has given to all Lycoming County citizens and visitors over the years, and warm congratulations upon his well-deserved retirement. Sheriff Lusk, may you never underestimate the difference and how truly appreciated you are by so many. Thank you. Also have a citation from here.
Do it later.
Do it later? Okay. We had a citation from Johan's office, but we'll agree to do that later. So Sheriff, why don't you come up and have a few words. Besides a few. We do have a lunch period in the county. Employees would like to leave by 5 o'clock.
In lieu of speaking, employees want to speak about me.
Well, this will be quick. We're not honoring you. Come on up, Sheriff.
You need like entrance music.
The wedding march?
I was thinking more Darth Vader-ish, but whatever.
Is this on? Hello? Good.
Now, on Tuesday, at the LEA meeting, Chief Trina,
I don't know
yeah, he timed you.
him. We don't know him.
You had 23 minutes. So let's see how well you do today.
I did it this morning from 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock with my staff at a mandatory staff meeting. This is different.
Sheriff, before you start, can I interrupt you?
Yes,
You just did. I see. Yeah, thank you. Your mom's in the audience. She's a wonderful woman. I want to recognize her.
Kathy,
Yes,
your friend Kathy.
yes.
There's Kathy.
Where it all started, right there.
Yeah, well, here's the problem. She doesn't answer my phone because her phones don't talk. She gets mad at me, and Monica tried to get her to get down here so we could get her parked. And she's probably mad at me, but that's like a daily event, but it'll work. You don't know it, folks. Nana worked at TJ Maxx for about 100 years. She was the guard, the warden, kind of the ward shoemaker at the changing booths where they get dressed. But now she's home and she's here with us. This, first of all, I guess I need to recognize the fact that so many of you are here. I have so many stories about everybody I see sitting out here and what you've done and how you've helped me to grow and helped me to do it better. It's just amazing. I just look around the room and everybody sitting here, standing here has experienced my craziness. I try to say that it's not craziness as much as it is a passion to keep people safe. I told my staff this morning, and I don't use that word often. I don't use the word "my" very often at all because it's not mine. It's the office of sheriff. It's the office that I hold, and it's the office that the people have placed myself in, as well as the commissioners. We all serve the public, but I'm like the orchestra leader. The guy that can't play the instrument, but I can guide it. I can guide how the music goes and how the path we travel and what we need to do to make it sound good, to make it look good, and to make it functional. And it's not without a lot of hard work and a lot of effort. And I've always tried, and all the hats that I've been fortunate to wear, I've always tried to teach as I instruct, or teach as my senior staff would tell you, lecture. Because I've always known in all those hats that I've worn, I wouldn't be in those positions for the rest of eternity. And many of the hats that Commissioner Metzger mentioned are hats that have come and gone, and I've always tried to help those who are going to come after me to continue to carry the torch and do it in a really good way, and do it with the least amount of difficulty as possible. And I have done the same with the sheriff's office. If I go back in history in my life, clearly, Mom is the reason I'm here. If those of you don't know, if some of you don't know Kathy, don't be surprised if she walks up to you and says, "He was never supposed to be here." Well, Mom, I am here. I'm going to stay on for a while yet. So, I have Chief Cassell. Many of you know Chief Cassell's passed away a year ago in September. He was the senior law enforcement leader in this county for many, many, many years. If I go back before then, I've got Mr. Engel was my class advisor. He was blessed to have me as the Royal Sox senior class president, which I think caused him to eventually retire. Mr. Ronald Warren was in charge of the program, and I was in it. Took me to the police department to first learn the trade. And when you go past that, it's just everybody who I see out here. I really want to mention names, but I don't want to get in trouble. But I guess I'll just get in trouble. Commissioner Becerra, I see Commissioner Metzger, he's here, and Mary's someplace there. Yeah. I'll dime him out. We've got Chief Kreiner, taking the time. I worked with Crystal Lycoming for a long, long time as we worked and helped to continue to shape that department. We have, I always call Major Martin. We have Ange Martin back in the corner. He's now the director of UPMC. I don't know what we change names all the time. UPMC North Central Region. Am I close, Major? He was a young trooper at Montoursville, came up through the ranks. He taught me how to have our first crime meetings to bring the criminal investigators together in this county. He did that at Montoursville. I picked it up from him, and we continued to do that through the LAA. I wouldn't be what I am, whatever that may be, if it were not for those that make it happen. Now, I don't make it happen. I get the idea. I formulate the idea. I put the idea together, and then I look at the commissioner, past and current. Then my strategy is to wear them down. And And they'll all tell you when I come in with projects and I come in with needs, I don't come in with just a mouthpiece. I come in with volumes of data that are just terrible to have to painfully go through. But I get that from my background. I get that from the background of being a criminal investigator. The 20 years I spent as a detective, almost at the Lycoming. Because I learned how to build cases from good defense attorneys, the campaigners, the likes of those attorneys who were really good attorneys who taught young officers how to go into battle prepared. I don't call going into meetings and ideas that we formulate in the sheriff's office, the commissioners, as going into battle, but you go prepared. And I've had departments and offices say, understandably, I get it. Well, the sheriff gets everything. Well, I don't know that I get everything, but I can tell you when I have a need, I do everything I can do to demonstrate that need. And I've done that. I've done it in many, many ways. It's been partnerships. The partnerships with, I'm going to get in trouble again, looking around the room with HR and Mike and IS and Mark and Leslie. I have to say it. Fiscal. What's the name now, Maya?
Financial management.
Okay. Let me tell you a little story. When I first became a deputy coroner, I didn't like Maya. In fact, I like her now, but I don't like her. No, I thought she was a pain in the neck. And through the years, as I've grown and adjusted, I learned that you don't want to hate the person in charge of finances. But there's times you have to realize that it doesn't make sense and it's not productive. And we've had a good relationship with fiscal. Don't always agree, but we've always had a good relationship. Our mission as a sheriff's office is a mission that is second to no mission anywhere. As important as the departments and offices are in this county, there's nothing more important than your personal safety. Thomas Jefferson said it. The first responsibility of government is the safety of its people. There's nothing more important to any of us than to go home safe at the end of the day, or for our family be safe at the end of the day. And that sometimes gets us in trouble because the more security we have, speaking from a financial standpoint, it's not free. And the more security we have, which is probably as important for some people, maybe more important, more security that we have, the more inconvenience that we have. I trade convenience for the protection. In 16 years, our deputy staff, many of whom are sitting in the back, including all my supervisors, 16 years, we have screened 1.5 million people into the courthouse. In 1.5 million screenings, we've never had a gun incident, offensive weapon incident. Our team down there screens, we document everything. As a commissioner's note, we document everything all the time. We have confiscated in a typical year 1,000 to 1,200 weapons, non-guns, and 30 to 50 guns. And I had a commissioner one day. It's funny because someone would say we had a love-hate relationship, but we actually do love each other. And I was Commissioner Becerra. He'd call me and he'd yell at me, and I'd yell at him. He had a pair of boxing gloves in his office. I almost had to take them from him one day. And he said, well, Sheriff, those guns coming into the courthouse, they aren't going to hurt anybody. They're just coming in because they want to carry a gun. And I said, you're right, Commissioner. When you go into a courtroom, Counselor, you can relate to this. When you go into a courtroom and the court's going to take your dogs, your cats, your guns, your kids, your house, the car you paid for, it's in your wife's name, and the house, and give you 20 minutes to get your belongings, you may want to use a gun. So I don't apologize for all the men, and I've had the complaints, taking their belts off and their trousers drop. I'd rather have 1,000 men standing in that lobby with their skivvies on than one gun getting into the courthouse. And that's our mission, and that's what we're responsible to do. And as the conductor of the orchestra, I don't do it. I don't do it. That team in the back does it. Those supervisors and those officers do it every single day. When an alarm activates, and those of you who are in the county system know this, the response time for an alarm activation, we have about 80 alarms, maybe 80 or 90 in every office in Third Street Plaza and in the courthouse. You push the alarm, it goes to their earbuds. They all have earbuds. Immediately goes to earbuds and activates where the emergency is. At every single emergency, and I just say 30 seconds, maybe 45 seconds. That's what we're here for, and that's the mission that we've been given. There was a name I did not mention, and that was Sheriff Brewer. I would not be standing here if not for Charlie Brewer. He asked me long ago if he actually said he wanted me to be his replacement. I said, no, it needs to be one of your deputies. They deserve it. He said, nobody, I already told everybody that I was going to ask you and nobody wants to do it. They want you to do it. And I turned him down once. I turned him down twice. Over that Christmas, I came to the conclusion I didn't go to get this position. It kind of came to me. And without Charlie, I wouldn't be here today. In 16 years, I have lunch with Charlie at least once a month. Our sheriff-elect tells me I'm going to have lunch twice a month. I don't have any answers. I'm out of answers. I'm sorry. Those of you who aren't aware of it, the deputy in the back in that far corner with the white shirt on is our sheriff-elect, Eric Spiegel. And I'm very proud that he's been my chief for the last 5 years, and he will be your sheriff, and his chief deputy is on the other side. That would be Kelly Mahosky. No extra E in the name. She will be his number 2. I want to thank the commissioners for all the opportunities, both past and present, for the support you've given me. I thank Commissioner Musera. He saw early on that one deputy escorting 3 inmates handcuffed to each other didn't make sense. He saw early on that one deputy transporting multiple inmates didn't make sense. He realized that that didn't make sense. On the heels of that transition, we had our incoming director of administration come in, Colonel Matt McDermott, who's sitting behind Commissioner Musera. He's a very unassuming person, but I always say it. He's a battalion commander out of the United States Army. Comes from that same branch that you come from, Mike. You guys that wear green, right? You wear green, right? Matt was an Apache pilot. And I worked with him for the 10 years that he was here. So I've had a lot of mentoring that has brought me along. I see Commissioner Metzer. We have Dick Connect in the back. There's Mr. EMA of this county. He's in the far back there in the corner. Was my brother for many, many, many years. I still think he's my brother-in-law. Dick handled all kinds of EMA situations here. I thank the commissioners for the partnership that we've had the past years and months. There have been a lot of challenges, and I've been very blessed to have the board ask me for my input in issues and in support. And we work very, very hard, and that we always try to do that. We try to work as much as we can. We try to help the public as much as we can. We try to be out there as much as we can, because thin blue line isn't getting any thicker. It's a very thin blue line, and it's a huge challenge to deal with what we deal with every single day, is a challenge. And the group that stands in the back and those that are already at their assignments are the ones that are responsible for this. I'd be remiss if I didn't recognize the lady sitting next to Nana. Nana, that's your name, right?
Yes.
That would be Nana's daughter-in-law, Monica. For being the one that keeps me as sane as she possibly can, and gives me counseling when I go home sometimes. I want to end with this. The office isn't going to change. Although Eric and I have talked, he's going to fire everybody standing in the back. Commissioner, so if you want a job when you don't run again, he's cleaning the house, he said. I said, yay, right? We won't skip a beat. We have a lot of work to do. The work will continue. I'm not going away. I will be, I'm active already again. I'm being asked to, a number of job opportunities. Nothing is going to be anything near full time, but I'm going to be very active. I'm stuck in the fire department, with one of the police commissions. So I will be here, and I will be here to help, and I'll always be available if anybody calls me, to help. Commissioner Messina wants me to be his personal driver, but he's a warrior, and I have no such, I will not do that. Nice shirt, by the way. Commissioner Storming is yellow on today. Where'd that come from? It gets confused. Oh, it must be his blue, his Motorizal. Anyway, I'm gonna stop talking. I thank every one of you who've come in here. I'm saying I should recognize somebody else. Oh, my clerical unit, very good, Pierre. We've got Candy and Christy and Michelle back here. They're the heart soul of the clerical operation. Many of you know those three. Some of you don't want to know Christy, but that's okay. Christy left us and came back. What do you think of that? Candy doesn't leave. She just hopes her husband gets more overtime working PennDOT highways. And we have Michelle, who's our leader of the pack. Clerical unit is incredible. A couple really quick statistics. In 2010, we served 200 PFAs. In 2024, we served almost 800 PFAs. Those PFAs we served last year, now this year, the PFAs we served two parties before. We served the police department of the defendant's location. We served the defendant. We are now, by court discretion, we are now required to serve a third party or the second police department of the other party. So we're now serving 800 more of those, just because we have to serve an additional party. That clerical unit I talked about last year, and Leslie Kilpatrick gives us this data. They answered that phone in our office 65,000 times. Answered the phone. Extremely busy office. We'll continue to be busy. We'll continue to do what we need to do and protect as we need to protect, and continue to partner with all the departments and offices of the county. And Chief Spiegel, I'm confident we'll continue that type of operation, which is the reason that he became the chief deputy, because he's that good at what he does. So with that, commissioners, I thank you for the recognition and the time you've taken. I thank you for allowing me to sit in on some of your most personal and important county decisions that you've made. I think the input's been helpful, and I thank all of you, including the lady at the end, Director Barnes, who I never knew lived 2 blocks from me until she actually became just about part of the county system. But I'm very humbled by everybody who's come here today, and I'm very humbled by the fact that I've been given this recognition, and I saw him, and where did he go? Where did State Representative Ham go? Bill, thank you for coming. He and I have been friends for a very, very long time. Does a great job as a state representative. And I will continue to support his effort in all that he does. So with that, commissioners, I thank you for what you've done, and it's been a good run, and time for a new chapter. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone who would like to come up and make any comments? We have State Representative Ham.
Does this mean I get to rebut?
Good morning, Mark Lusk, public servant, community leader, friend, and neighbor. And I'll get back to that neighbor part in a minute. I've known Mark for more than half of my life. 26 years ago, I joined Old Lycoming Township Volunteer Fire Company as a 15-year-old junior firefighter, and Mark was one of the chiefs. Mark made our meetings go way too long because he always had a speech to give, and so we appreciated that. But that's when I met Mark, and Mark and I quickly became friends. So I got to serve with Mark in the fire service for many years, served on the Tidonton Valley Regional Police Commission for 9 years together. But most importantly, Mark has been a trusted friend that I can count on. He's also been a trusted friend that this county can count on, that our communities can count on. I told you I'd get back to neighbor because Mark is everyone's neighbor. Mark's also everyone's best friend. I don't know if you know, but if you're walking around with Mark, literally everybody is Mark's best friend. Everybody tends to love Mark Lusk, and they all believe that they're best friends with Mark. Neighbor, September 2011, while we were out making rescues during a horrific flooding event, Slabtown Bridge gets wiped out, and Mark Lusk parks himself out in the Eldred Township, Plunkett's Creek Township area for the next few weeks, serving his neighbors, making sure that they were taken care of, making sure that they had the resources they needed in their time of need. August 2024, Trout Run. Bridge gets wiped out on Route 14. The little village of Trout Run takes significant damage, including our firehouse. And Sheriff Lusk was there for the next 2 weeks, making sure they had the resources they needed, making sure that our community was taken care of. I'm sure there's many more examples of those types of actions, and the sheriff did it each and every time without hesitation. He loves our community, he loves our people, and he wanted to serve them well. Over 50 years serving our community, whether that's in the fire service, as a deputy county chief coroner, sheriff, police chief, on commissions, he's done it all. And I know Mark well enough that he may be retiring as sheriff, but his service isn't over, and he's got more to do. I might have heard about one of those job offers he got while I was working the food bank in Jersey Shore. That being said, I have a citation from the Pennsylvania House of Representatives for Sheriff Lusk. I'm honored to have the sheriff as my constituent. While he can say that he will not work for anyone who's associated with the Montoursville Warriors because he's a Bulldog, I have to be a Bulldog, a Warrior, a Spartan, an Indian, and all of the others that come with that because of my district being so large. So I got to many Montoursville Warrior football games as my nephew plays linebacker and was playing well until he broke his ankle during the Southern Columbia game. Yeah. Yep.
Hey, this is.
I'm surprised. I just asked you the question.
But I also got to many Jersey Shore Bulldog games, and Sheriff sat a couple rows down from me as an ardent supporter of the Jersey Shore Bulldogs. And so, with that being said, I have a citation for the Pennsylvania House of Representatives that I'll now read. And I will tell you, this citation will do no justice to Mark Lusk, the man he is and the service he's given. I asked for this to be able to be printed with everything Mark has done. It would have been over 8 pages long. And so they denied that because citations can only be 1 page. And so that's why I tell you it will do no justice. I thought they told me no. So, you know, 1 page.
Was it 8 pages because it was in large print?
So 1 page, small print, because I needed them to get as much in there as they could. Whereas Sheriff R. Mark Lusk is being honored upon his January 5th, 2026 retirement from the Lycoming County Sheriff's Office, concluding a career spanning over 48 years. Whereas a 1976 graduate of Loyalsock Township High School, Sheriff Lusk began his career as a patrol officer with the old Lycoming Township Police Department in 1977. Promoted to detective and corporal, he became a criminal investigation supervisor in 1987. Sheriff Lusk rose to the rank of sergeant in 2002 and was named chief that same year, a role he held until 2007. During his tenure, he wrote and implemented the Contracted Services Municipal Agreement between Old Lycoming Township, Lycoming, and Hepburn Townships. Sheriff Lusk served Lycoming County as chief deputy coroner in a part-time capacity for 7 years and in a full-time role from 2007 to 2009. Elected as sheriff of Lycoming County in 2009 and re-elected in 2013, 2017, and 2021, he assisted with the upgrade of courthouse security, screening operations, enhanced emergency response preparedness for critical incidents, provided command support after several major flooding events in the county, and implemented a food drive program to benefit the Central Pennsylvania Food Bank. Signed to the United States Secret Service as the Inner Perimeter Commander on several occasions, Sheriff Lusk has served in leadership roles for multiple organizations, including the Law Enforcement Association of Lycoming County, the Pennsylvania Sheriff's Association, the Tydont Valley Regional Police Commission Board, and the Lycoming Regional Police Commission Board. And he has served as a certified instructor for the Pennsylvania State Fire Academy, Bucks County Community College, Harrisburg Area Community College, and the Municipal Police Officers Education and Training Commission. He's provided community outreach to local events, served on many committees, and is a recipient of numerous awards. In addition, Sheriff Lusk has been a member of the Old Lycoming Township Volunteer Fire Company for 45 years. Now, therefore, the House of Representatives of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania pays a respectful tribute to Sheriff R. Mark Lusk upon his richly deserved retirement, notes with pride and gratitude his record of service, which far exceeds those standards normally ascribed as exemplary, and offers best wishes for every future success and happiness. Directs that a copy of this citation, sponsored by the Honorable Joe Ham, be transmitted to Sheriff R. Mark Lusk. Mark.
Start the clock
If
again.
I admit to this, you're gonna wonder how I kept getting paid by the county, so I'm not gonna admit to any of this.
Thank you, Joe. Anybody else? Tony, Commissioner? Like to come up and say a few words?
On Tony's way up, I want to thank my family, Brandon, Brad, Amy, Stephanie, Kathleen. Everybody works, so everybody's really busy, so they couldn't be here. Had a lot of joy in watching that, the law firm session thing.
I had hair until I met Sheriff. But anyway, it was an honor. And I'm saying you were my mentor because I didn't know anything about public safety. Still don't. But as I look back, you know, there are people that work in this county and all occupations that we consider very dedicated, hardworking. We have a lot of them. I see a gentleman over there, Todd, probably one of the most dedicated volunteers I've met, you know, in my 12 years. Dedication isn't how I would describe it. Now that I'm retired, my wife turned me on to Ancient Aliens. I believe you are. And but no, you know, I'll make a long story longer, and I'll never forget the time that you came into our office the day before. It was probably about 4 o'clock, the day before the meeting. You gave us 72 videos that were an hour long to watch before his presentation the next day, right? And it was about safety in courthouse, you know, safety and what's going on in the world. And it was all about videos of courthouses throughout the United States that were getting assaulted by people. And because I was trying to be very cost conscious. And so we watched him, and he came in well prepared as always. We're sitting in the conference room, and his alarm went off. And it was a disturbance. Now we're watching some videos at the time, and it was a disturbance in the courthouse. There was a fight. He gets up and he runs. Now, guy in a wheelchair that's probably could run a little faster. So he gets out of there and he goes to the other building, courthouse, and I thought it was staged. I thought, you know, that guy is pretty convincing, but it wasn't. And here, you know, somebody, yes, it was. They get violent. And I think since COVID, this world has gone crazy. We see the most bizarre things happening. And the one thing that I can assure you is that our sheriff was proactive. He was not reactive. He had every one of those people in uniforms, backs covered. Every day. Every day. He's concerned about your safety. He wanted you to get home. And there wasn't enough money in the world that could replace one of you. That's how he attacked us every day. So he did wear us out. But, buddy, we love you.
Anyone else like to make any comments? Sheriff, I've known you for over half my life. Friends. Had a lot of conversations. A lot of good information shared. You know, I was thinking the other day about the sheriff's office, what you brought to it. And you look at the kind of, say our sheriff's office is kind of like the Pittsburgh Steelers legacy. They've had 3 coaches in the last 50 years. Chuck Dole, Bill Cowher, Mike Tomlin. We've had Gene Pauling, Charlie Brewer, and you. And I think
61 years.
yeah, and it's been about the same for the Steelers. And I think that their success is because of their management. And I would say it's the same way here. You brought the right people to our offices, and the professionalism of our sheriff's office is the best in the state. You know, I worked at the courthouse when we didn't have security, and I worked in an office where we made arrests in the office. And I remember, you know, when we make arrests, we often find weapons on clients, knives that they could have stuck us with while we're putting a pair of handcuffs on. And we took that to the Board of Commissioners, you know, this has to stop. And before somebody gets hurt, and we're able to get the sheriff's office down to the front door. I think back to, I think it was election night when there was a murder up in Newberry. The guy was on loose. He went to western end of the county and state police pursued him along with our sheriff's department. And they got him at a local convenience store. Cheese. They boxed him in. The employees hid in the core along with customers because they were so afraid. If he would have been boxed in, there could have been other lives taken that night. That's the professionalism of our state police and our sheriff's
He
department.
was shooting with 2 guns in different directions. shooting
Yeah.
our guns.
Yep. Scary stuff. The PFAs. We've lost deputies across the state this past year in New York. Years ago, on a simple cost and fines warrant in Bradford County, we lost 2. It happened any second, anywhere. And we've had our deputies involved in shootings. Fortunately, they went home at night.
In my career, we've taken one life,
Yes.
tried to kill.
So you brought that professionalism here. You brought those individuals here that we're blessed to have in our county. Thank you. Blessed to have you mentored Sheriff-elect Spiegel, and you left the sheriff's department in good hands going forward. And we can't thank you enough for your service. You know, you say you don't have many hobbies. Two that I know of. Being friends with you. You're a phenomenal eater. Love to eat. So I hear you're gonna do competitive eating. I hear Joey Chestnut might have competition in New York this summer on the hot dog eating contest. That's a rumor.
How many did he eat?
You don't wanna know?
62, I think.
Yeah, I think you've done that. I've seen you eat.
Yeah.
Yes, oh yeah, we've had lunch. I've seen you. And the other
He's
one,
canceling all eating, by the way. He's not allowing lunch anymore.
yeah. And the other one, I hear you're gonna go to auctioneer school because you love to talk. You might be a future auctioneer. So, well, we wish you well in your retirement. We know you have things on your horizon. You're far from done. You're far from done, and you're going to continue to share your expertise with many members throughout the state. We're blessed.
Thank you.
So thank you.
I just have one question.
Yeah.
Is he gonna get to speak?
We're going to put the egg timer on when he starts talking.
Thank you.
Okay, commissioners, who would like to go first?
Yeah, I'm gonna start with, I hear Jersey Shore dogs. Possibly he's somewhat dedicated to that, but once a loyal cycle answer, always a loyal cycle answer.
Always.
That's who he is.
Always.
Let's not forget that in this room.
Always.
Impressed to hear, when you talk about public service, and obviously I've known Mark longer than I've been a county commissioner, so I've known about his public service for a long time. Did not know that he was president of his loyal stock class, and it just, that's a start of public service. I wasn't the president, but I was the treasurer of my loyal stock class. And it's amazing how someone such as yourself, they give that time then, and they've given that time to the public ever since then. When I think about the friendship that I've had with Mark, I know it sounds cliche, but I would say I'm a better person because he gave me a better understanding of safety and security. When I was first elected, he was the first elected officer to come to me and help me. He showed me around, showed me the courthouse, showed me the safety, showed me what he was doing, talked about county in general. I came from a supervisor role, which is not even close to a county commissioner role. But I appreciate the time he took because he didn't need to do that. And it just, again, shows who he is as a person. He will always take the time to help somebody. It was very, very professional, very helpful. I can't thank you enough for that because you were the only one to step up and do that. The service he's done and to know him and know people that know him, the dedication that he's had is just tremendous. It far exceeds. There's plenty of people that know he has been the catalyst that changed the face of safety and security in Lycoming County. Some would say good, some would say bad. Some would say he spent way too much money doing it. Maybe Commissioner Nacera would say that. But you did it, and you did it out of pure sincerity. I don't think there was a dollar spent that you did not think wasn't worth the safety of our community, our staff here within our buildings. And I thank you for that from the bottom of my heart. And I thank you for the service you've given as a lifetime to most of Lycoming County in one way or another. And I hope you really enjoyed your retirement.
Thank you. So you didn't mind at 3 o'clock, 3 a.m. emails and texts? Those of you who don't know, they were sent continually.
The only thing that I'm going to comment on that I minded was always telling Mary Rose to print it out so I could read it on my desk, which I always read mine on my phone at 3 o'clock in the morning, because that's usually when I was up as well.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Anyone who gets an email from the sheriff, it's not uncommon to get one at 1:30 in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, they're time stamped. And then you better have a cup of coffee or a drink and at least 5 minutes to read it. You know,
Before he starts, one quick story. Monica one time was awakened at the other end of the house in the master bedroom, because my office is the opposite end of the house. And she hears me screaming on the phone, and it was a screaming match with myself and Commissioner Metzger that we resolved the next day, but sometimes that happens, I guess. Okay. Yeah. Solicitor Kick, you get a court order, stop him.
You didn't know he was loyal stock class president?
No, I did not.
He
I
did.
knew it was a little side graduate.
I knew that.
Year, but I didn't know he was the president.
I think it's the first thing he told me the first time I ever talked. So that's why I wore as much blue and gold as I could today. On your day, I wanted to dress as appropriately as possible.
Otherwise, you're not very
And
appropriate.
also, if you didn't, I didn't hear what that joke was, but
He did hear. Good.
if you're wondering what you're going to do in graduation, you didn't know ancient alien study was one of your options, but you and Tony has offered that to you as well. I know I've said this before, so this is redundant.
Say it again. Is it
And
nice?
since everyone hangs on our every word, you know, the county's so big, and there's just so much stuff that comes up every day, and you show up with your list, and just like every other job, show up with your list, and there's always new stuff that's added to the list, and we're always, you know, putting out fires and addressing things. And whenever it came to the sheriff's department, when I tell you we didn't give it another thought, I mean we didn't give it another thought. We were on to something else, because we knew that you and your team had it under control. Like in the world of high maintenance, low maintenance, no maintenance, you guys were no maintenance. And so for us, me and I'm sure Mark, as the new guys coming in with all the stuff that we had to deal with, that was a blessing. And we can't thank you enough for that. Also, just with the job, just like any job, there's people, you know, your job is different than most, because yours can be very dangerous, you know, to the point of, you know, life and death. But that's not what it is all day. There's the mundane, there's the meetings, there's the plannings, there's all that stuff. And when you're doing that, you want to be able to work with people that are intelligent, but you also want to work with people that make it fun. And every meeting that we have had with you, every discussion we've had with you, you have provided both. And again, for a new guy that's coming in to learn the ropes, I am blessed that you were my first sheriff, and I am equally thankful for the people in the back that the transition will be seamless. And again, we expect a no maintenance group going forward, which is a testament to you and the team that you have assembled. So, you know, like, because of that, you've made my life better, because you've made my job easier. And I can only imagine how many other people you've made their lives better throughout. You made a mention about the orchestra leader, and the orchestra leader doesn't play any instruments. And I get that in theory, but the orchestra leader can usually play a lot of the instruments. And through your time, you've obviously played so many. as the hats that Scott read and that Joe read. And I think that certainly helped your connections throughout the community. Because anybody can be sheriff. You can just run and win. But your connections with fire and with EMS and with coroner and with all that stuff has certainly helped you. So you've been a benefit to me. Obviously, you've been a benefit to the county. And now, the old saying, everyone provides happiness to the room. Some people it's when they arrive, and other people it's when they leave. So we're going to find out now which one you are. And that's all I got. That's it. That's all I got.
Did you, I have a little personal question for you.
Shoot.
Have you developed a rash or hives from all that talk that you just made? Is you'll be medically crazy?
No, I'm good.
You good?
And my notes, I have 4 words written on my sheet. That's
Yeah,
it.
he usually does have 4 words written on a sheet. It's the same sheet he takes to every meeting.
We're getting ready to talk about
That's
the
not
budget.
true. They give us new sheets at every meeting. That's how it works.
We're getting ready to talk about the budget, vote on it, final budget. And, one thing the sheriff shared earlier is when he would come and ask for things, he was always prepared. And documentation like you would not believe to argue his case for what he needed. And that's a example for anyone who comes before financial situation in our county. Please have your facts, have all your documentation. You ask for people's money, want to make sure that it's justified, and sure if you always had that documentation ready to go, argue your case. And, I remember when we discussed the deputies for the magistrates, how critical that was. Different scenarios. You didn't have just one scenario. You had 8 different scenarios, which one we could go with. Hiring process. And I think we took the middle one of the middle ones.
That was a 4-year project. We actually built that over COVID. Our downtime, it's been about 4 years putting it together. And then 2 boards of commissioners to reconcile it and tweak it and then get the approval.
You had documentation to back it, so we appreciate that. It's an example for everyone to go by. So thank you for that. I wanted to highlight that as we go forward with our budget, how critical that is, especially in today's time. Money's lean.
I'd like to weigh in on that because he is the only elected official with a golf cart. I'd like to see that detail because I wasn't here then, but I'd love to see the detail that supported.
You mean the golf cart or the side by side? With 2. With 2. And by the way, all the equipment that went with the 2, which is about 40 or 50K, came from the mention of the VFWs and the American Legions. Our veterans funded both of those projects 100%.
Thank you for emphasizing that.
Okay. I think the chief wants to come get another one soon.
Some of us walk in parades and some of us ride in golf carts.
Because, we've had people ask us, was that tax? No, that was privately funded.
I think the lady at the end might want to say something.
Yes.
My story about you probably may not be as heartfelt as everyone else's here. Mine is a little bit more comical. As you know, Sheriff Luss said we are neighbors, and I didn't know this until about 5 months ago.
I don't admit that to people now.
Yeah. Funny enough, when I moved here from California 25 years ago, I was traveling quite a bit with my work, and my husband was a stay-at-home dad with our 3 children. And I need to preface this by saying my husband is nosy as hell. He knew every goings on in the neighborhood, who's got new furniture delivered, things like that. And he would tell me, that's our county sheriff. Look at how dedicated he is. He patrols our neighborhood at just about the same time every day. And I'm thinking, wow, that is dedication. He's going home. He wasn't controlling anything.
I didn't give a damn about where you live.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I was going home to eat.
Going home. Yeah. And then, Monica, his lovely, wonderful friend. We reconnected. I changed dentists. Our girls were on swim team together many, many moons ago. And we reconnected through me changing my dentist. She's my dental hygienist. And we would talk and, we need to get together with Mark and we need to go and do this stuff. And I just said, yeah, that'd be great. Never knowing it's Mark Lusk. And she says, I live down the street from you. And I said, you do? She says, yeah, that house at the end of the road. And so, I'm thinking my dental hygienist lives at the end of the road. And my daughter says, you know who lives there? Mark Lusk. I said, no, he does not. My dental hygienist lives there. Monica lives there. She goes, Mom, I'm telling you, Mark Lusk lives at the end of the road. I said, you're full of crap, Kim. That's not where he lives. And here, he introduced himself at the first interview. Hey, neighbor. And I said, yeah, I found that out. And I said, don't hold that against me.
Do I still live there, Monica?
Time being.
Thank you.
But no, and everything that everyone's saying about his dedication to his team is true, because I think I was here for about 5 minutes and he pulled me over and showed me everything that he wanted to get done right away for the safety of the courthouse. So
He didn't tell you he was Loyal Side Class President?
no, he did not. But everything that he does is done with integrity and character. Not just in his role, but as a person. You really know what kind of a person Mark Lusk is, because what you see is what you get. And I appreciate that, sir. Thank
Sheriff, we'd
you.
like to get a picture with you and Representative Ham, and then with your staff. Okay. And then your family, like to come up also. Picture of your family.
Nana.
What do you want to do first?
Why don't we get one with Representative Ham, and then we'll bring the staff up, and then your family. Go to the third one. Okay.
Sorry.
Upside down, right?
You guys.
Okay, now your staff.
She's pretty good. Pretty group of them. Stay here. Yes, they're all taller than us. So they can get behind us.
Light up and.
You do 2 rows.
All ones in the
Get
back.
tall, get tall. Keep where you can. Speak. In the back. There you go.
Made it look better.
CC, you can.
Okay, slide.
Make sure you can see everybody's faces.
Sheriff.
Can you see faces?
But his clerks too. Yeah.
Oh, we forgot to pull their clerk out.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, listen. Pat's picture is most important. It goes to the newspaper.
Ladies.
Ladies,
He's up here because he lost the value.
ladies, there's Christie.
Oh, wait.
Okay, now family.
You meant to stay here. Staff can sit down.
Who do you want?
Christie, sit down.
That's kind of
Nana.
bossy. It's a little bossy.
Nana. Monica, get Nana, please.
Yes.
She got from just she just stopped. Actually, that's 8 years. She just stopped.
Yes. Where do you want me?
Right here, right here, right here. Here, one. Three. Here, one of you, come on outside. See.
Same here.
Catching balls.
It's respectful.
It's fun.
Having a ball. Most fun I've had in years.
One
Jody,
Wait a minute, Eric was
One more.
Jody has your cake.
Is that it? Just that.
It's all good. Better be there. Thanks.
Sure.
Yeah, upstairs.
For 2 years.
Thank you. Okay. Continue with the meeting and Nikki, bid openings.
Okay, we had one bid due for consulting services for comprehensive recreation parks, open space and greenway plan. We received 10 bids. The first one, AKRF for $149,992. Barry Islet and Associates, $150,000. Designing Local, $150,000. Environmental Planning and Design, $149,930. Evolve Environment, $249,678. Fisher Associates, $150,000. Labella Associates, $141,870. Larson Design Group, $144,959. Mackin Engineering and Consultants, $149,500. And Simone Collins Landscape Architecture, $149,995.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Move on to reports.
Presented for your ratification are invoices due through December 31st, 2025, to be paid on December 17th, 2025, in the amount of $2,654,444.95, 66.99% out of the general fund, 17.71% out of other grants, 13.22% out of RMS, and 2.08% out of escrow.
Okay, got a motion to accept the accounts payable.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second. Is there any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nikki. Informational highlights. Mike?
Good morning. I'd like to see if we can move 5.0 salary board first,
Okay.
as that will impact informational items in 4.0.
Okay, this time we'll recess Commissioners Public Meeting for the salary board. We'll salary board this time.
Okay, the first item I have is vote to approve the salary board minutes from the December 11th, 2025 meeting.
Motion to accept.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second. All in favor, say aye.
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 And in the courts, remove a full-time law clerk position from the TDA. Want to do these all separate?
Let's do the whole courts. And we can do this.
Okay, so we're going to remove a full-time law clerk position from the TDA, add a temporary part-time law clerk position to the TDA, which will reevaluate in 2 years, and remove a full-time court reporter position from the TDA and add 2 temporary part-time court reporter positions to the TDA, which we will also reevaluate in 2 years.
Okay, motion to accept.
I'll make the motion.
A second.
Any further questions or comments?
I'm just gonna make a comment. I believe I'm correct with this. The reason for the reevaluation change is based on the vacated position of Judge Butts, who most likely will not get a new judge in Lycoming County for 2 years when the next election.
Okay, so we have motion a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 And in DPS, the telecommunicator new pay scale will need to go into effect 1/4 of 26, not 1/1 of 26 for payroll purposes.
Okay, we covered that last week. Yeah. Motion to accept.
I'll make the motion.
A second. All fair side?
Aye.
Vicky, before we adjourn the salary board, can you
Yeah.
explain to the public how the process of the salary board works? So we just don't put these on the agenda, what we do each week.
So every 2
Every 2
weeks,
weeks,
yeah, we get together and discuss any changes to the TDA. We invite department heads and elected officials to join us and explain why they want to add positions or remove positions. And then we bring it to this commissioners meeting.
Okay. So we have discussions during those meetings, and we bring it on the agenda then to vote. It's not just brought here. That's what we've been doing with the salary board.
Okay.
Thank you for clarifying that. Okay, at this time, we'll adjourn the salary board. We'll reconvene the commissioners' public meetings. We'll go back to information items.
All right, good morning. Informational items. In the clerk of court, Stephanie Snyder, criminal processing clerk 5, or criminal processing clerk pay grade 5, full-time at $22.398792 per hour at 75 hours per pay period, effective date December 21, 2025. Also in the courts, Paula Singer, court reporter. This is a pay grade 9, part-time, $28 per hour, not to exceed 1,000 hours annually. Anticipated start date January 5th, 2026. In the courts, Ronnie Kreischner, court reporter, pay grade 9, part-time, $28 per hour, not to exceed 1,000 hours annually. Anticipated start date January 5, 2026. Also in the courts, Laurel Fox, law clerk, pay grade 12, part-time, $36 per hour, not to exceed 1,000 hours annually. Anticipated start date January 5, 2026. In the sheriff's office, Keely Mahosky, chief deputy sheriff, pay grade 10, full-time at $73,511.75 per year, 80 hours per pay period, effective date January 4th, 2026. And then 4.2 in the district attorney's office. This is a assignment of special county detectives. It's appointing various members of the municipal police departments in Lycoming County as special county detectives participating in the operations of the roving DUI patrols from January 1, 2026 through December 31, 2026.
So the part-time court positions will be assisting any visiting judges that would be taking care of the responsibilities of the vacant judge position.
The vacant position, yes.
And we'd also like to congratulate Chris Mahonsky on her promotion. Congratulations. Well, Chief Deputy. Okay, thank you. Moving on to personal actions.
All right. Approve the following personnel actions as conditional offers of employment, subject to the successful completion of a background check and all other employment conditions as outlined in attachment A. In the prison, Quentin Ferguson, correctional officer, union, full-time at $20 per hour, 80 hours per pay period, anticipated start date, December 22nd, 2025. And then the remainder there are salary adjustments due to the salary board item. In Public Safety Communications Center, Tyler Fetterman, telecommunicator 2, pay grade 9, full-time at $23 per hour, 75 hours per pay period, effective date January 4th, 2026. Public Safety Communication Center, Clinton Frackman, telecommunicator 2, pay grade 9, full-time at $23 per hour, 75 hours per pay period, effective date January 4, 2026. Public Safety Communication Center, Adam Malik, telecommunicator 2, pay grade 9, full-time at $23 per hour, 75 hours per pay period, effective date January 4, 2026. Public Safety Communication Center, Brenton Flieger, telecommunicator 2, pay grade 9, full-time at $23 per hour, 75 hours per pay period, effective date January 4, 2026. Public Safety Communication Center, Megan Strassner, telecommunicator 2, pay grade 9, full-time at $23 per hour, 75 hours per pay period, effective date January 4, 2026. In Public Safety Communication Center, Agasha Brown, telecommunicator 2, pay grade 9, full-time at $23 per hour, 75 hours per pay period with an effective date of January 4th, 2026. Public Safety Communication Center, Brittany Mitchell, telecommunicator trainee, pay grade 7, full-time at $20 per hour, 75 hours per pay period, effective date January 4, 2025. In Public Safety Communication Center, Amina Woodruff, telecommunicator trainee, pay grade 7, full-time at $20 per hour at 75 hours per pay period, effective date January 4, 2026.
Okay, is there a motion to accept the personnel actions?
I will make the motion.
I'll second. Any questions or comments? Nope. All fair side?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, action items, Maya, 7.1. Heather.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. So the first item I have for you is the long anticipated budget. So resolution 2025-26 is approving the 2026 Lycoming County budget. The budget is hereby presented for formal adoption as required by statute. The proposed budget was placed on public display for 20 days for review. Following a thorough comment and review process, it has been determined that no revisions are necessary to the 2026 proposed budget. I'm recommending that we proceed as followed, and that means the total 2026 budget is $123,254,342, which is a decrease of $5,452,008 or 4.24% decrease from the 2025 budget. This is a comprehensive of an operating budget of $115,978,442 and a capital budget of $7,275,900. This is a balanced budget without the use of the fund balance, which is the first in many years. Due to the ongoing revenue constraints and rising operational costs that was discussed earlier in November, the adopted budget does reflect the half mil tax increase, which will raise the millage from 6.5 mils to 7 mils. The financial management team will continue to be prudent in the upcoming budget year and continue to examine expenses with a critical eye. And we will begin to implement long-term integrated financial planning, inclusive of budget reduction strategies and strategic planning. With this mindset and process, I feel confident the county will continue to move financially forward and make great strides in improving our budget process and long-term budget outlook. And again, just thanks to the team, the department heads, and of course the commissioners for the leadership. This is probably one of the very difficult budgets I've ever been a part of, and couldn't have done it without the team for sure.
Yeah, thank you.
And a special thanks to Heather. She's been amazing through this entire process. Definitely could not do it without her for sure. She's an incredible accountant.
Thank you.
No, I just would like to mimic what Maya said about if the departments would have not been willing to reevaluate their budgets and look at decreases, we would have not been able to put this budget together. With the tax increase we did, it would have had to have been higher. So it's very much appreciated that everyone was willing to work with us. And I know going into 2026, we will still cut our spending. There's still things that we need to do and work on. And I know that 2027's budget will be even better. Thank you.
Thank you. And this we sat down last week with the Sun Gazette and they ran an article in the newspaper. It has been a difficult year and there's been many reasons why. It's kind of like the perfect storm has happened, not only here, but across the state. You know, this is our first tax increase in 8 years. And it's a 7% increase. So you think that's less than 1%, less than 1% over that period of time. And yet you have rising utility costs. Everything's going up in price. And with those rising costs, the fund balance can only cover things for so long. Bradford County has raised their taxes 1.64 mils. We learned yesterday Montour County has raised theirs 1 mil. Shared last week, Dauphin County has raised theirs 22% last year. And they did a final yesterday of 9.75 this year. So that's 31.5% in 2 years. Dauphin County. Luzerne County did theirs last year, 33%. So 7%, and our first increase in 8 years is a minimal increase when you think about that. No one ever wants to raise taxes, but you can see the situations across the state. It's not just Lycoming County, it's across the state that is experiencing this. We've highlighted the reasons why, we rely on property taxes. There's only so much property tax available. You have to rely on state and federal. Those monies are not there anymore. Those funds are not there anymore. So as they dry up, those expenses come on the county. So we have to make a determination whether we continue with those programs, with those employees that were funded by the state or the feds. We have to make those hard decisions. They're very difficult decisions. We've seen how the county payroll has grown to 550 employees. As I stated before, I spoke to a former administrator. We used to be at 375 20 years ago. So we never want to jeopardize public safety. We never want to jeopardize services, but we have to look to see what's redundancy in government. It's redundancy. We have to look at a better way of operating, streamlining those services, and we'll continue to do so. I want to thank everyone in the county. We went back and asked the courts to cut $1 million. They did. Everybody understands the situation. Everybody's working together as a team. So I want to thank the department heads, elected officials for working together as a team. Controller's office has been great. Your office has been great. You have fantastic staff. It's a pleasure to work with them. And it's been I can't say enough about my 2 colleagues working together. We sit down, we discuss things. And sometimes we have 6, 7, 8 discussions before we make that decision, but we make the decision. And then we move forward at the public's interest. We always look at the public's interest at best. What's best for our employees, what's best for our public, and most of all, what we can afford. You have to live within your budget. And I've often said we got to get to a balanced budget. And the fund balance is a way of covering those expenses from year to year to year so that you don't have to raise taxes. As fund balances get low, then you have to go to that alternative, which is something that we don't want to go to. But those are the 2 ways you have to look at when you get to a balanced budget. We're doing it the right way, getting to a balanced budget, not using that fund balance in the future. We want to set up a capital reserve account going forward so that when something happens, emergency happens, you have those funds so we don't have to rely on something. And then going out on those generational projects, it's so important to get that bond. We don't want to put the county any further in debt. We express the debt of the landfill. There's debt also with the county, but there's also times when it makes sense. You have to do that instead of deplete your savings. So it's a delicate balance.
Yes, it is.
And we have the people in place that are looking at it. They're doing diligent. Shannon, I can't thank you enough. Great asset. And working with us and watching those monies and how they're spent.
Yeah, she's my partner in crime for sure.
Yeah, so you look in the next year, We know the reassessment's on the horizon. That's been a big expense. And as we try to make more equity amongst the property owners out there, we know that there's people that and businesses that have to pay their share. We have to make it more equitable across the field. That's what a reassessment is. There hasn't been one done since 2004. I wasn't in favor of it at the time, but I understand the necessity of it. Get below a certain common level ratio, you have to do it because it starts affecting the tax base. And I've often also stressed that there's nonprofits and there's true nonprofits. We have to look at the nonprofits, them paying their way somehow. Nonprofits we get. There's other people out there that they're making millions of dollars. And we have to look at how they can contribute back to the county and the city and the entities they reside in, where they operate out of, to make things fair across the board. So, gentlemen.
Yeah, I'm glad we got a quick minute for the budget during this and not in final comment. But again, I would thank my colleagues for the support and the conversations that we had at getting to the budget that we got to. The fact that we had to raise taxes, obviously, it is a harder decision when you're looking at things. It's a needed decision. We were not on the same page together. We had long discussions till we got to the final thing. I would thank our director for her continued support of the cost cutting that we need to do within the county. We have a fresh set of eyes, and she's very supportive of asking the question. And I think that's the biggest thing, is we're all asking a question. And I thank our financial management team, our controller's office, and really every person working, every department head and every person working within this county that took the time to analyze, evaluate, make hard decisions to get their budget at a lower level than what it's been in the past. The three of us in 2 years have cut somewhere around $28 million out of the budget. It's easy for all of us to sit at night and look at Facebook that will rip us apart for our decisions, the things we've changed, the things we've cut, the things we've done differently. And then we can flip over and read the one for the city of Williamsport that said, why didn't you cut before you raised our taxes? So, you got to weigh that balance out too. Everybody wants cuts. Nobody wants a tax increase until you cut something they wanted, and then you're the bad guys for doing it. So, it's a balancing game, as Commissioner Metzger said. We're human. We're doing our best. We may have cut some jobs that we're going to have to add back in the future. We may have changed some things that we have to change back in the future. We don't know that until the future gets here. But we will be diligent in continuing to find cost-cutting measures, because I believe when I read the social media, I have more people on social media saying cut than don't cut. I mean, people are tired of the government growing to the levels that it grew to and the spending that was being spent on various things. And, I know I sit at night and I think, if the county was overspending, how bad, sorry, Representative Ham, how bad is the state overspending? I mean, he'll support that all day long. I think overspending by $3 billion, or maybe it's $5 billion. $6 billion. I know he's not in favor of that. He's the maybe one of the sole no votes, because he believes what we believe here too, that you have to change that. So then think about the federal government. Oh my God, how bad must it be down there? So I'm proud of what we've done. I will continue to read the comments on social media because I think it educates me for what people think or believe. But then I will do what I feel is right for the county, which is what we've done. There's not a single nonprofit that we have supported with taxpayer money that did not get a reduction. Everybody's in the same spot. We didn't treat one differently than another. We've supported anybody that has asked. I mean, there may be no's or there may be less. There's a process to it. When I read some of the social media where we didn't get. But I also know, because I took phone calls, that the proper paperwork didn't request the money. And there were times where we still looked and we found the money. I think that's a positive, not a negative. It can be spun either way, but we've taken the time to help people that are helping other people. It's hard. It's very hard when you don't have it in the budget because the request may not have been there, and then you got to figure it out. And we have so many people in Lycoming County that help the people that need help. Whether it's Salvation Army, it's Code Blue, it's our fire and EMS services. Everybody is dedicated to helping. And that's what the greatest part about living in Lycoming County is. Everybody helps one another. You know, we have seen it, you know, the comments were made about Sheriff Lusk. And our director at the time, I know, spent countless hours and days at Trout Run when that bridge went out. I wasn't around when the Slabtown Bridge went out, but I truly believe that Sheriff Lusk was at that scene for weeks at a time. That's who people are in Lycoming County across the board. Everybody's helpful. So we're not trying to not fund people that are helping other people, but it's taxpayers' money, and we have to do our due diligence with their money and say, where can it go and how much can we give out? It's a hard decision. I appreciate the residents that don't do the keyboard warrior and personally walk up to me. They thank me, and some may tell me that they're not happy with the decision. You know, sometimes the decisions people don't know, and I don't want to pick on the library. The library still gets $1 million. $1 million is a lot of money, a lot of money. Any one of us would be thrilled to have $1 million as our annual income. So when you look at, yes, did we reduce their funding? We reduced their funding. Did we eliminate it or cut it? No, it's still there, and it's big. And everybody is still getting a piece, maybe not as big. And everybody's got to make changes. We've all made. I watched President Trump's speech last night. Talked about the economy. You know, same thing. 50% of us in this country say economy's doing okay. 50% say this economy is terrible. You know, I know that everybody in this room is spending more for electric. Everybody in this room is spending more for food. Maybe our gas came down a little bit. But all of us have to make hard decisions. There's people today that probably said, hey, you know what? Last year, my Christmas budget was $2,000. This year, my Christmas budget's $1,000. You know, maybe some people are lucky enough to say, hey, last year I spent $10,000 and this year I'm only going to spend $8,000. But guess what? Everybody cut back, I'm sure. So, hope my wife didn't hear that part. But yeah, I mean, but I appreciate it. It is. It's an entire team. I appreciate the keyboard warriors because it does educate us. But I would hope, and I hope in the future that more of them would be a little more educated. As Commissioner Metzger said, we met with Pat from the newspaper last week, and that was one of the comments that I said. People read the headline of her article without reading the article and then make comments. Please read her whole article because you'll educate yourself. And with that, I'll stop.
But they're not reading the whole article. I mean, we've been here a long time. I just, again, to echo what I've said before, what Scott said, I'm just thankful for the team. And these guys, I'm fortunate that I'm here with. You know, it's an odd dynamic here because you get here by being elected and you want people to like you and you want people to support you. And then you have to bring bad news sometimes. And whether we're cutting from a department or whether we're raising taxes, nobody wants, no matter where you're at, nobody wants to hear that they have less money. And it takes guts because you know that there's going to be complaints. And we've talked to financial consultants who've talked to us about other counties. They need to raise taxes, but their elected officials are afraid. They're afraid because they're afraid of reelection. And I'm thankful that these guys here are committed to doing the job right and we want to make sure that the county has a better financial present and on the path for a better financial future, because that's what our goal is for 4 years. And, there are those people, anytime you raise taxes, there's those people that are going to complain. But I've also, as Mark has said, I've also had the people who've thanked me and said, they're like, I know you have to. I know it's a tough job. And they're the people, and the more financially in-depth, involved people that they get it. And, because next year, prices are going to go up, salaries are going to go up. And how do we balance that again? And that's the challenge that we have going forward. But it is not it's not easy for anyone to make a decision that you're going to take public criticism, especially when a few years from now you're going to have a public election, and that is challenging, and some elected officials don't have the courage to do what they think needs to be done. And you can ask any elected official. Joe knows that we take criticism. That's what it comes with the territory, and we knew it when we ran. But I'm just thankful that these guys are up here and we did what we thought needed to be done for the financial future of our county. And I think there's a lot of people that appreciate that, and in the long run, we'll be better for it.
Thank you. The only thing I would ask that, you're gonna have people that want to be negative. That's fine. That's part of life. But we'd ask the people that really want to understand to reach out to us. We'll have a conversation with anybody. And my wife was at a Christmas gathering on Saturday night. A party that was there and said, I kind of stand on the opposite of what your husband stands on, the other side of the fence. But he probably won't call me. Called him yesterday. We had a nice conversation. And I answered some of his questions. That's why we're here. We're not always going to agree. We want to educate everybody on why we make decisions. And then they have the facts, and then they can form their own opinions. That's part of America. And that's what we just ask people to do that. Okay, next.
Resolution 2025-26. It's the Lycoming County 3-year capital plan.
We have to vote on that resolution. So I have a motion to vote on resolution 2025-25.
I'll make that motion. I'll second.
All fair side.
Aye. Again, thank you, Heather, for a great job on that budget.
Thank you, Heather.
And resolution 2025-26, the Lycoming County 3-year capital plan.
A motion to adopt that resolution.
I'll make the motion. I'll second.
Side.
Aye.
Resolution 2025-27. That's in accordance with the half-mil tax increase. So the county tax millage rate for 2026 will be set at 7 mils.
To accept.
I'll make the motion. I'll second.
All fair side.
Aye.
Resolution 2025-28. The predetermined ratio for real estate tax assessment shall remain at 100%.
So
I'll make the motion. I'll second.
all fair side. Aye.
And resolution 2025-29, it's just to set the 2026 table of distribution and authorizations.
A motion to accept.
I'll make the motion. I'll second.
All fair side.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Going forward, the goal is to have a balanced budget each year without using any of the fund balance.
Yes. Yep.
That's our goal. Okay,
Moving forward, 7.2, vote to ratify resolution 2025-30 for a tax anticipation or revenue note for series 2026.
motion to accept.
I'll make the motion. I'll second.
All fair side.
Aye.
The next item, 7.3, vote to approve the agreement with Kenneth Davis. This is for polygraph testing needed in the Chief Public Defender's Office, not to exceed $10,000.
Motion to accept.
I'll make the motion. I'll second.
All fair side.
Aye.
And that is a 2025 approved budget of a.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
it'll roll over to 2026 as well.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
7.4, vote to approve the agreement with Akega Campbell. This is not to exceed $75 per hour, and this is for mitigation specialists, again, for the Public Defender's Office.
Accept.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All fair side?
Aye.
Aye.
And the last item I have for you, 7.5, vote to approve Adult Probation Office Grant and Aid application with the PA Commission on Crime and Delinquency. This is a continual grant that we apply for, and this is just the application. We'll see if we get awarded. We typically do it. This helps offset the salary costs for the employees, so we're requesting $168,903.
Okay, motion to accept.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All fair side?
Aye.
Aye.
Right.
And Maya, before you go,
Yeah.
we had met with our lobbyists the other day. And again, show that, you know, as we're making cuts, we're still looking for revenues for ways to help those agencies that may have received a cut. So as we're meeting with them the other day, we're like, is there any way you can assist with the library? Is there any way you can assist with the volunteer services? And they said yes. So we want to set up meetings in 2026 with the lobbyists and those entities, introduce them. So hopefully they can assist them. So it takes less of a burden off the county. And it helps the agency. At the same time, they may be able to get revenues from another source.
Yeah, I can tell you the majority of, the problem with the nonprofits and the outside agencies is they just don't have the support there to do those in-house grant applications and to do the research. I know historically, when I first came in, I was the grant person. I was doing the Keystone grant for the library for many years. They had some change of leadership over there. They haven't, I think it's been now 4 years since they've applied for the Keystone grant. But all of those things, yes, I think it's just, times have changed since COVID and people were doing less with more personnel. And, that's kind of part of the problem is that they just don't have the experience there.
So it's not like we just do the cut and then forget about it. We're still trying to assist them in ways we can think of and try to help them. And so we look forward to having those conversations and then bringing them to the table, introduce them. Now they're going to have to do the grants. They're going to have to do the work. But at least we can get them to the table, show them that there's something out here that can help you. At the same time, it reduces some of that expense off the county that they come looking for each year.
Yeah, I believe the firm we use does the work.
Yeah, they would do the work.
So that's where we need to connect them to the nonprofits and we can be the facilitator of that and help these other organizations find other resources for money as opposed to just always the taxpayer.
Yeah, and I would love to see that from like the social service agency side, because there's such a need basis on that, but they all kind of compete amongst each other, which makes it hard for them to survive. So that's one of my goals, at least, that I would like for 2026, because that funding continuously keeps decreasing every year and it's harder and harder. There's a growing demand as people are struggling financially and with food and shelter, all of that stuff.
I just wanted to highlight that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, you and your entire team for your efforts.
Thank you, Mike. Kristen, thank you for hanging on. I know it's been a long morning.
Assuming that she was still there.
Yeah.
I'm still here. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah. So now you know the history of our sheriff.
Yeah.
And
A lot.
so thank you.
Sure. Action item 7.6 is subrecipient agreement amendment number 4 with West Branch Regional Authority. This is ARPA funds. And this amendment is only to extend the termination date from December 31st, 2025 to September 30th, 2026.
Thank you. Motion to accept.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All fair side? Aye.
Action item 7.7 is a subrecipient agreement amendment number 2 with Lycoming County Water and Sewer Authority for Riverside Drive area stormwater improvement project. This is again an ARPA project, and the agreement amendment is only to extend the termination date of the agreement from December 31st, 2025 until June 30th, 2025.
Okay, motion to accept.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All fair side?
Aye.
7.8 is a subrecipient agreement amendment number 3 with Monfortville Borough. And this is to, again, ARPA funds to extend the termination date from December 31st, 2025 until September 30th, 2020.
Motion to accept.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All fair side?
Aye.
Aye.
And finally, action item 7.9 is, again, ARPA funds and interagency agreement amendment number 1 with, between Lycoming County and the county Department of Public Services. And this is to extend the termination date from December 31st, 2025 to September 30th, 2025.
Accept.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second. All fair side?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Commissioners. That's.
Thank you.
my list.
Yeah, thank you.
Kirsten.
All right. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you. Marissa,
Yes, good morning.
morning.
Action, action item 7.10. We are seeking the board's approval for an amendment to our professional administrative services agreement in the amount of $113,100 for fiscal year 2024.
Okay, motion to accept.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second. All fair side? Aye.
And for action item 7.11, for fiscal year 2023, we are seeking the board's approval for the professional and administrative services agreement amendment for $107,200.
Okay, motion to accept.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second. All fair side? Aye. Thank you for hanging with us.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
You as well. Thanks.
Morning, Stacy.
Good morning. 7.12, I am here to seek approval for the agreement with Keystone Communications in the amount of $20,301.84. This is a contract renewal in which the contractor shall provide 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, technical maintenance and repair services of the legacy base stations, 3rd Street Plaza backup dispatch consoles, GPS timing services, UHF base station receiver, and CDM repeater and key call alarm system.
Okay, motion to accept.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second. All fair side? Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Morning, Emily.
Okay, the first item I have for you is 7.13, and I'm requesting approval. This is one of the 2 liquid fuel applications we are recommending to fund. It is Old Lycoming Township of the South Cottage Ave. They are requesting $125,221 with a match of $13,914. Again, this is the liquid fuels grant program.
Okay, motion to accept.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second. All fair side? Aye.
And item 7.14 is requesting your approval for the second amendment to the US 220 Safety Impact Study. This is an update to the previous proposal that was originally presented October 8th Commissioners meeting. This amendment is to clarify the intersections of the study. It did not change the timeline or the cost. It is just an update to the proposal.
Motion to accept.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second. All fair side? Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, Jane.
Almost afternoon.
Almost.
Hello, I am here to approve for item 7.15, vote to approve the following reappointments to the Lycoming County Zoning Hearing Board. Both are 5-year terms. First is William Klein, effective term January 1st, 2026 through December 31st, 2030. And the second one is Stephen Brady, same term, so January 1st, 2026 through December 31st, 2030.
Okay, motion to accept.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second. All fair side? Aye.
Commissioners.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jenny.
Shannon.
All right, action item 7.16, vote to approve the following reappointment to the Industrial Development Authority, Jeffrey Bauer, effective term January 1st, 2026 through December 31st, 2030.
Okay, motion to accept.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second. All fair side?
Aye.
Okay, action item 7.17, vote to approve the following appointments, reappointments to the Lycoming County Water and Sewer Authority, First being Mike Philbin, reappointment, effective term January 1st, 2026 through 12/31/2030. William Henry, reappointment, effective term January 1st, 2026 through 12/31/2030. Donald Conkle, reappointment, effective term 1/1/26 through 12/31/2030. And the last being Nicholas Ring, appointment, effective term 1/1/26 through 12/31/2030.
Got a motion?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
And we want to thank all the individuals that serve on these boards, taking their time to volunteer. Many of these boards well, they're all critical, and many bring different types of expertise to their boards. And without them, work can't get done. So we appreciate their time and energies and their service. So that said, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Thank you. Commissioner comments?
I have said enough. I just Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, and we obviously just hope everyone has a happy and safe and blessed holiday season, and enjoy the family for those of us who are of that age where the family gets together, as opposed to when they were little and they were together every day. And now I look more forward to these holidays because the times are fewer and further between.
Thank you, and want to extend a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year to everybody. This is a joyous time of year for many. However, it is a very sorrowful time for some in the community that have lost loved ones, that are experiencing some kind of hardship. And our hearts go out to them, our prayers go out to them. It's a different type of year for them. We'll keep them in our prayers. At the same time, celebrating time with family, friends.
I would just, as I close on my second year as a county commissioner, from the bottom of my heart, thank the staff of Lycoming County, the residents of Lycoming County, and as we talked a little earlier, all the volunteers of Lycoming County that support what we're doing on a daily basis. There's good days and bad days, obviously, in anything you do, but the good days far outweigh the bad. I'm excited to be a county commissioner here in Lycoming. I'm thankful for the team that I work with on a daily basis. And I couldn't be prouder or happier of the direction that we're going. And again, thank you to everybody. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year's.
Comment from the public? Yes. Come on up. Good to see you, Commissioner. Thank you for being
You're
here.
gonna talk about aliens now?
Yeah, of course. I'm Commissioner Tony Massera, and I served as a commissioner in this county from 2012 to 2024. And I would hope that the chairman would give me a little bit of time
Absolutely.
to address the article in the paper December 16th. I'm here primarily to ask you guys for an apology and to retract your statements you made in that article. In the first page, it said about mismanagement and not finding a watchdog. Since 2012, I served this county as a commissioner until 2024. So that's 12 years, and that's the majority of the 20 years that you're talking about. I take that personally. And I was only the chairman of this board for one. That's when Jeff Whelan became a state rep. Did you believe that you're the only watchdogs? I want to take you back down memory lane. My very first year as a commissioner, Jeff Whelan had a slogan, and he said, Tony, you're coming in, and We want to have 20/20 vision. 20/20 vision. Now, it was a play on words, but it was about the budget. He said, I want you to see if we change nothing, and we see what the wages are going up and some of the expenses, where would we be in 2020? I said, okay, Chairman. I said, I'll look into that. And so there was a lady here by the name of Cassie and Beth Johnston over at Finance. And I'm sure it took them a while to come up with all the information that we needed. And I reported back to Jeff probably about 4 months later that we would need a 2.25 mil increase. 2.25 mil increase if we just went along, okay, the way we were.
Tony, what year was that?
That was in 2012, and he asked us to do this.
Thank you.
We raised taxes twice in those years. And as a matter of fact, we raised them twice in the 12 years that we were the commissioner. It was the toughest decision I ever had to make. Okay, it's not fun being in your position. I understand it, but you ran to do it. And I'll give you credit for that. It's a difficult decision. But to say mismanagement, to say you couldn't find watchdogs, that was an insult. So, you know, I want to give you some examples of what we did. And I thank my colleagues, Rick Marabito, Ernie Larson, Jeff Ralph, Jack McKernan, and the director, Matt McDermott, for putting up with a lot of the stuff that we were asking to do as well. And he was an exceptional servant of this county. And they had the insight to follow my lead with the golf course, of which I think last week you probably received a check. We turned that organization around from giving it or subsidizing it from $200,000 to, I don't know what they make this year, probably $400 and some thousand, which is revenue that goes in to your fund, hopefully. Okay. We were dealing, you know, and if you don't think that's being a watchdog or if that's mismanagement, you got to tell me. And we're dealing with rising rates, and you are, as far as healthcare, that we're going up from 9 to 27% annually. Unsustainable. What do you do? Okay, you make tough decisions. You look into the future. You project future cost, and then you make decisions. That's what you do. Not all of them will be right, but you're doing it for the betterment, the lives of not only your employees, but of the community. Because every one of you here, I can tell you, take this job seriously. And all the past commissioners took their job seriously. We had an unfunded healthcare for life. At that time, there was $7.5 million that was unfunded, never placed into. And that were things that the retirees were looking for once they retired. It was a great benefit, unsustainable though. And we eliminated it in 2014. Tough decision. Do you make enemies? Of course you do. Was that not being a watchdog? That mismanagement of this county? That's just my first 4 years. Prison overcrowding was forcing our commissioners to build a new prison at a cost of $47 million. And one of our commissioners believed it was necessary. And I disagreed, just like you guys disagree on many things. I said, I'm not building this. You were there. You saw what was happening. Our budget was $12,000 for prison overcrowding in 2012. In the end of 2012, it cost us $650,000 to house prisoners out of town. That certainly wasn't in my projection. And you worked with the judges, President Judge. We implemented geo reentry. Did that cost the county taxpayers money? Yes. As much as building a new prison? No. Was that mismanagement or not being a watchdog? And it reduced our prison overcrowding and really helped substantially. We changed this world. Counties were not excluded. And you worked here. You saw the stress that was happening, especially to everybody. We had shortages of guards, right? And these guards were getting paid anywhere about 15, maybe, well, when I started, it was $14 an hour. And now COVID put a new stress on us. Those stresses were wages. Those stresses were federal government stealing our employees, going down to the federal government. They were getting $10 an hour more in wages. And now we had to compete. And that wasn't the only occupation that we were competing for. Those wages went up. Those wages went up, I'm going to say, anywhere from 15 to as high as 100%. When you take a look at the LPNs that we had no nurses in our prison, they didn't want to go. They weren't getting paid enough. We paid them $30 an hour just to get people to dispense drugs. Not fun decisions, not easy decisions. We didn't want to make those decisions, but circumstances left us no choice. We had at the landfill, we had heavy equipment operators who were far below what the wages were providing in the state and federal governments. And they were leaving. And we had to correct that. And this is all COVID. And we took them from anywhere from $18 an hour to high as $22 an hour. And we still lost some of our best employees to that. Planning, which is critical. Our planning department is critical to the operation of county government. Why? Because its fingers reach out to every municipality. And I'm sure, Mr. Sorman, you know that. And through the bridge bundling program that we sat there, did we want to implement a $5 fee? Our tax? No. But then we didn't want a community that had 800 people in it to pay for a bridge that was going to be closed, or the weight limits were going to go down, that building, that first responders vehicles wouldn't be allowed to cross, right? We didn't want to do that. And we knew that if those communities that didn't have the population, right, we didn't do anything, that guess what? Their taxes were going to go up. And to spend $1 million on taxes, right, on property taxes, just couldn't do it. We made tough decisions. We were watchdogs for this county. I don't know of anybody that mismanaged anything. We tried our best, and sometimes your best isn't good enough for people, but we did try our best. Once those comments are made, you can't take them back. You know, I assure you that you're trying your best, and we've tried our best, and we try to maximize the efficiency of county government. That's what you're doing right now as well. but those words hurt. They hurt my family, hurt my friends, hurt a lot of people. And I appreciate the time you're giving me here to address this. And I just hope I misinterpreted those comments. Thank you.
Commissioner Messina, or Ms. Harris, sorry. Let me address it. Because I did make the watchdog comment. You know me long enough, you know I won't hide behind anything that I've ever said.
Sure.
or anything. Not addressed at the commissioners. One thing that I give you guys a lot of credit for, when I look at what happened prior to me coming in, the selling of the executive plaza, golf course I mention all the time. Sadly, the golf course still today, read Facebook, loses money in everybody's comments. And we know you guys changed that. And I make that comment on a regular basis. You guys have changed that. You changed the Chartwell lease. You guys did so many things to start the reduction of expenditures. And I appreciate that. And I give you credit for that on a regular basis. So please understand that I do that. The comment of the watchdog and the mismanagement came out of one segment of this county, and it's the landfill. Because the question continually is asked, how did they believe that the three of us made it not make money? They believe, when I say they, residents, everybody, media, everybody, how did it go from making millions to being broke?
Can I address that just for one
Yes,
second?
absolutely.
So you have requirements. You have laws from DP that you have to make sure that you're following that. Okay. I got here and they're in the process of building a new leachate tank. 500 million gallons or 50 million gallons.
5.5.
5.5, whatever. A lot. It's a huge tank. And DP said when it was done, it leaks. Tanks can't leak. And now our leachate tanks, and you mentioned 2011 on all the rain, all the flooding, right? We're overflowing. We were only allowed to have them to 25% capacity. Okay. So you have a 5 million that went to a $7 million expense, right? To now hauling leachate out for $250,000 each time. What do? You have to figure out what you're going to do to save that in case this tank will not pass. The tank was perfect. It was beautiful. It leaked a couple drops, but they didn't care. BP doesn't care. It wasn't polluting any money, any wells. Didn't care. You called it a tank. Right? So now they have to get their engineers and say, how are we going? You're paying a lot of money to have it hauled out by truck. They have to figure out, how do we get it to these, I think, sewage places for treatment. Cost millions of dollars. They did it. It was an expense that they weren't looking at. Okay, that's just one example of what happens at that landfill. So I can't recall a year. Maybe you can, Matt, but I can't recall a year that the landfill did not give us money into our general fund. It was at least $1 million a year. That's revenue.
Typically 2 million, as high as 0.9.
Yeah, and we never subsidized them, ever. I don't recall writing one check out to the landfill. Not one. Things keep going up. And I'm just going to give you a small example of what DP did. 2000 in, I don't remember, 2017, I don't know, we had another major event, maybe 2020, I can't recall. It in the bank and it poured a couple inches. And erosion started happening in that field. Overnight. DP came in, fined us $25,000, just like that. We stopped that. Okay, these are the senseless regulations that are killing everything. And you know, when you talk about PPP, you know, it's a joke. Government is hurting us. The only way you can afford anything is if you have government subsidies. That's not the way America was built. It was built on the private sector, figuring out and making a profit doing it. So to answer your question, the landfill, to my knowledge, has never lost money. Never lost money. Are the expenses high? Yeah.
Unfortunately, we were told the opposite by our controller's office and our finance manager.
Yeah.
That too much money came out of the general fund to support the landfill, even though we stopped the host fee because they don't have the money to give to us. We didn't make them pay it last year.
And
because
you know,
they would have a loss.
I haven't been here, so.
And so I will, I respect you.
Yeah.
And I will make a public statement right now that I apologize if in any way I offended you or any of the previous commissioners with a comment of management. Because my comment of management was the management of the landfill that I don't think gave you guys the proper information. I apologize if I in any way offended you because I
accept that
respect you and I
apology.
do not want to offend you or anybody from the past. But I'm stuck with numbers that I'm told. And as you said, you got to make the best decisions.
Yes,
And that's what
I
we're trying to do. So I do apologize for that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Tony, I respect you. I worked with you for 4 years. And when you and Rick retired, I listed a lot of things that we accomplished.
A lot.
We did a lot. Some of those you highlighted today, other ones I wasn't involved in. Some that are still being carried over from the previous administrations when you first started and before that. So we did a lot of good things. But in the past 2 years, we've discovered things too that we didn't know about. That were either hidden from us or it just wasn't there. And it's alarming.
Sure.
It's alarming. And the landfill, they have a lot of good staff over there. They work hard. But like I shared with them, you operate a business. When you're operating at 55%, your overhead, you're not going to make money. You're bringing in 1,200 ton a day. They're permitted to bring in 2,000 ton per day. Now we've had people for the landfill that are landfill knowledgeable. And they said, beautiful facility, clean, over your overhead, your capacity, you're not going to make money. And there's a landfill that's west of us that has less employees. It does more capacity. They make money. There's a landfill east of us that does 7 times the capacity with less employees. And they make money. So the management model has to change or we're not going to be able to make money. I've stressed the regulations. It isn't what it is 40 years ago, 20 years ago. They're constantly being regulated. And it's a clean landfill and they prevent a lot of fines. And it's a tough situation.
If I can make one last comment.
Yeah.
And we read what's going on. You do what you need to do. We understand that. But one of the things that concerns me more than anything is when you lose your top management. Okay, you saw how devastating that was during the COVID time. When you don't have that top management, that institutional knowledge, and you don't replace it, you're destined to fail. You need the best. This is what was your budget this year? Okay, what is it, 120?
23.
Okay,
23.
okay. Imagine running $123 million, and that's just county. That has nothing to do with children and youth and the other things that you're talking about that you're responsible for or part of. That if you don't have your top echelons really trained, understand power in their decision-making, you're destined to fail. And I know we need to reduce, and God knows, Rick Marabito, myself, we went to the department heads. I mean, we went to the departments and talked to the individual people. It's amazing what we learned by doing that. And we eliminated people because of that. Okay, and that's something that has to continue to be. Reconsider about not replacing your directors, or, you know, it's really critical to the success of those individual departments and the county overall. You know, I know, I hear people are concerned about it, and I am too, but I know this county's in good hands. I know it. And it's just difficult being where you're at right now.
Right.
Okay.
But we're gonna follow your lead with the golf course, and we announced to the employees this week at the landfill that we will be bringing a management company in to take over the landfill.
Okay, interesting, good.
And I hope for the same results you got out of the golf course.
I'm sure, I'm sure you're making the right decision.
So we have to continue to do so in those aspects, but, you know, there's, please don't take offense. I know you did, but please, we went over to talk to Sun Gazette about the county's finances. They asked us to. We want to talk about the budget. And as we had a conversation on the phone.
Yeah.
You know, the fund balance took care of things for a long time. It did down in Dauphin County. I read the article yesterday from Dauphin County. It took care of Dauphin County forever. But that fund balance has been depleted by so many different reasons that has to change in order to get that fund balance back up, because without that fund balance, you can't operate. And you know that.
Yep.
So, but we appreciate your service and what you've done, and it was a pleasure working with you.
I don't want to make it look like I'm not apologizing, but I wasn't at the interview, so that's why I wasn't quoted in the article.
Now, well, listen, God bless you. You got a tough job, and I hope you all have a Merry Christmas too. Have a good time with your family.
Any other public comment? Yes.
I just have one clarification on personnel actions,
Okay.
if I may. The 8, for public safety communication center, I said 75 hours. That should be 80
Okay.
for all 8.
Oh. Yeah. Want to vote on that?
Yeah, taking your vote.
Okay. I was looking to.
I'd be more than happy to read all 8 again.
Do you want what numbers? Does he have to read all 8 again?
No, just. Mark, if you are amenable to amending your motion.
Yeah, I will amend the motion
For the new pay scale for the,
that they are 80 hours. Oh, wait,
Since you were the.
it says they're 80.
They're supposed to be 80.
They're supposed to be 80.
Yeah.
I read 75.
75s. So,
Oh, because I see that one's 80, but that one's the prison. Okay. Yeah, so I guess it's everyone else except the first one for all the public safety. Yeah, I will amend my motion to accept the personnel actions that are 80 hours instead of the listed 75.
I'll second. All fair side? Aye.
Thank you.
Any other public comment from the audience? And online.
Lots online.
Boy.
And I will preface this by saying I won't read them necessarily in order, just so things make sense. So there's a lot of repeat comments. So the first comment from MCG 581, we've been blessed to have Sheriff Lusk in our midst for the past half century, and words are insufficient to thank him for his service, past and future. From Todd Winder 3707, Sheriff Lusk has dedicated his life to serving the people of this county for over 50 years in police, fire, and EMS. Whether you like him or not, there is no doubt he has served us well, and Sheriff Lusk has served us with dignity, integrity, and honor. From Thomas Adams, 3614. Good morning, Lycoming County. Thank you for your dedication and work for the good of our county. Thank you, Sheriff Lusk, for being a great example of a model citizen and sheriff. I think the basic principle in Mark Lusk, he is a God-fearing man. Sorry, moved on me. He is a God-fearing man, which will naturally bring out the traits and determination for the rule of law and the drive for justice all law-abiding citizens long for and love. Knowing that these are fundamental to a clean, healthy, and safe environment for our communities to have the best opportunity in which to thrive, I hope the county will continue Sheriff Lusk's dedication to working with ICE to help regain more control for our society, to bring our community, state, and nation to turn around the illegal immigration activities, which are so damaging to a structured society. Chaos begins and spreads as weeds when in the minds of the people are the most trivial laws are not upheld. Liberty only lives in biblically based laws, of which our immigration laws are solidly based. Thank you, Sheriff Lusk. May God bless America and may God bless Lycoming County. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Then the next comment would be from Clover Smith -J2K. In the last meeting, you mentioned wrongdoing of the former county administrator, just wondering why there was an NDA signed when he was forced to leave. Comment from Kaylin Jade, Clover, it sure sounds like if there was one, it was violated since you're here talking about it. As a citizen outside of the situation, I took the commissioner's comments pertaining to Watchdog as comments directed toward our old watchdog, who our old watchdog was. Historically, the counter controller is that. Moving forward, I can attest our new watchdog is one hell of a watchdog. Prior to this Board of Commissioners, the true state of the landfill was ignored. Maybe not on purpose, maybe the numbers were skewed, but we are here now. Our current board is doing what's right. Commissioner Sortman was given accurate information. Then back to Clover Smith, J2K. Is there a conflict of interest with the friendship between Sortman and the director of the Clinton County landfill, the Lycoming County landfill's largest competitor? Kaylin Jade, I don't know why or who our commissioners are friends with outside of work is any of our business. It's almost like it's a sign of maturity to be able to separate business and pleasure. Maybe he should get advice. It seems that the landfill is running on a profit. We, however, are not. And then Lee Lobshire 6458, can you tell us who the new management firm for the landfill will be? Thomas Adams 3614. Thank you, Tony Masser, for your dedication to Lycoming County too. And that's it.
Okay, thank you for the comments and be adjourned. This is our last scheduled meeting of the year. We have two holidays that fall on Thursday, Christmas and New Year's. So we won't be moving back till January the 8th, I believe. However, we're going to explore possibly having a meeting on Tuesday, December 30th, if necessary. If that's the case, we will publicly advertise it. There'll be a meeting. Otherwise, we'll be adjourned until January 8th. 6th. Okay, thank you, everybody. Yeah.